SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga, who's been following proceedings at the Commission. She joins us live from Pretoria. Very good afternoon to you, Canny. We listened there to Madlanga reprimanding Fadiel Adams, and of course a lot of back and forth when it comes to questions about his alleged role in the investigation of senior crime intelligence officials. Talk to us about some of the highlights.
Absolutely. Good afternoon to you, Paul, and to the viewers at home. And where it gets interesting is at the tail end of his testimony just before the lunch adjournment, where he delves into how he becomes involved in the crime intelligence matters that we have now learned to be Project Diversion of IDAC, which is something that was really dismantled before the probe, rather, to the extent that we see a lot of these matters before the criminal courts now falling apart, with even the Mokwele matter set to be withdrawn unconditionally before the criminal justice system on a Friday. That is the matter that dealt with the appointment of Brigadier Dineo Mokwele, and we heard through several witnesses about the kind of illegalities that followed these investigations into the crime intelligence matters, and how this was allegedly targeting high-ranking generals, that is Lieutenant General Dumsani Khumalo and General Canny Maphanga. Now, why Fadiel Adams is important is because his Section 27 referral affidavit, or whichever one it is it the one with the PKTT or is it the one that doesn't have the PKTT mentioned in it, gives birth or gives rise to these matters or investigations that were highly irregular and to a great extent allegedly unlawful, because they were going at any means to try and get any information that would link these high-ranking generals, including even in the tail end of Drew Ramsami's evidence, that is General Canny Maphangala's daughter. But interestingly enough, we see that the case that Fadiel Adams opened against IDAC and its members, which it was assumed was about the kind of revelations that were coming out of the Madlanga Commission with respect to the kind of illegalities that followed these particular investigations. It seems that Fadiel Adams' issue isn't really about how his Section 27 referral was improperly used to allegedly target generals, but it seems that he has an issue with the contents of the investigation being shared with the Commission, or rather stating that it's privileged information that he had with those investigators at the time. So he skips past all of the irregular conduct that has been exposed before the probe that really renders that particular investigation and the scant Section 27 referral affidavit as something that did not engage IDAC's mandate, nor did it propel it into the kind of investigation or charges that it concluded with at the end. But that seems to not be his issue, but rather that the contents of those details of the investigations were shared before the Madlanga Commission. And it raises questions surrounding his particular testimony today, because he seemingly addresses every other issue other than the Section 27 referral affidavit itself and what was done with it. So as things stand, we're at the tail end of Fadiel Adams' statement, and we don't know whether or not the statement which dealt with the PKTT was his, or if the one that is alleged to have been designed to mislead the probe and could have been used in the courts, whether that is indeed his statement. He also doesn't engage with the alleged conduct of Dylan Paramal and those additional sets of statements that he says he would have commissioned from Fadiel Adams on that 6th of January visit to Cape Town. And you see two of the IDAC team members, that is Mr. Rapesu and of course Drew Ramsami, stating under oath that it is impossible that that additional set of statements or A1 statements that were commissioned allegedly by Dylan Paramal could have taken place on that particular day. We're yet to even get to that particular evidence, but you do see that Fadiel Adams is invested in discrediting, if we could put it that way, Drew Ramsami in terms of her testimony and the things that she had stated under oath about Fadiel Adams' possession of classified documents, that she allegedly warned him that this is something that is highly unlawful for him to be in possession of, and the fact that there was a recording of their meeting or the consultation that they had with him on the said date. So while we've heard a lot from Fadiel Adams, we're still a bit lost as to whether or not the state statement that deals with the PKTT was his, and what informs the discrepancies that you saw in the Section 27 referral that gave birth to Project Diversion, which is the investigations into the crime intelligence matters, and whether or not those discrepancies were because it was something that he was allegedly involved in, or did the IDAC investigators go on their own frolic and allegedly used the little bit of information that he had given in order to allegedly parachute themselves into a highly irregular and allegedly highly unlawful investigation that was aimed at allegedly targeting those high-ranking generals. We expect for him to finish the remainder of that statement at 2 p.m. when the Commission returns. It's over to you in studio.
Very well. Thank you very much, SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga, following proceedings there at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, which resumes at the top of the hour.